Hey, how's it going everybody? Miguel Quiles here, and in this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the 5 traits that you need to have or develop if you want to become a successful professional photographer. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Miguel Quiles. If you're here for the first time, make sure that you click that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all of the new videos that I'll be posting. I talk primarily about photography and videography, but I also talk about business and entrepreneurship. I've had many years of experience, and in this video, I'm gonna share just a small portion of my experience and kind of devolve it all down into the 5 traits that you need to have if you plan on becoming successful at photography. Let's talk about the first trait that you need to become a successful professional photographer, and that is consistency. You see, this is the one thing above all else that I believe you must develop if you plan on charging for your services. Now, if somebody goes to your website and they see a photo that you've taken, whether it was when you first started out or it was 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago, or even earlier today, and they hire you, you have to be able to deliver a certain level of consistency to your clients. It can't be that they're hiring you based on what they're seeing on your website, and then you can't deliver that 10 times out of 10. You know, for myself in my own professional career, I've actually had people that tell me, oh, your work is really consistent. It has a certain look, has a certain style. And I've developed that over many, many years. I've looked at the aesthetics that I personally like to see in photos, and I try to make sure that every single time I do a photo shoot, that I hit on what those things are in order to develop and to build this consistency. You really don't have to look very far to understand this concept of consistency. Imagine if you go to a restaurant today, and it's a brand new restaurant, it just opened, and you go there the first time, and the meal is awesome, right? Meal is great, everything tastes good, the service is on point. Chances are, if you have another day that you want to go out and eat, you may consider going back to that restaurant to go and eat dinner or lunch or whatever once again. However, if you go that second time, and the service is subpar, and the food doesn't taste anywhere near the same as the first time, chances are the third time around you might be like, I'm not really sure if I'm feeling that idea to go back. Consistency is key. We pay and we're actually charging as professional photographers for consistency. I'm not gonna let my clients down. I'm not gonna let them believe that they're gonna get a certain level of quality, which they're seeing on my website, and then not deliver that to them in their own personal product that they're purchasing from me. So make sure that you develop and just become very consistent, not just in your workflow, but in your lighting and your retouching, your post-processing. There should be a level of consistency, and that is what you charge the big bucks for, right? If you're starting out, obviously consistency is something that's gonna be really hard because you're learning your lighting, learning how to deal with difficult situations. So the more that you do it, the easier that it gets. And of course, the more consistent you will become. So make sure that you're developing that consistency. It's the first trait, and I'm not gonna say it's the most important, but it probably is the most important trait that you're gonna need. The second trait that you must have, or that you have to begin to develop, is this trait of resourcefulness. Now, we live in the best time right now. This is being filmed in 2018, and I can tell you that trying to learn photography and trying to learn business and entrepreneurship and selling and marketing and SEO and all these different things, which some of it didn't really exist, right? SEO, I'm not sure that even existed in the late 90s, but being resourceful is something that should come very easy to us. We have search engines, we have Yahoo, we have all of these different outlets for information, and it's at our fingertips. I mean, I have Google Home, and I could go and ask Google questions and it will answer me, and it gives me the answer right away. As to where back in the day when someone would ask me a question, I'd have to go to the library or, whatever. You'd have to really search to get information. We live in the information age, and anything that you want to learn is there, right? If you want to learn how to be better at sales, better at marketing, better at photography, you're in the right place, because I put out videos every single week talking about these topics. By watching this video, in a way, you're resourceful, right? You're utilizing YouTube University to further expand your skills and your knowledge, and good on you for doing that. You have to learn to be resourceful. So it's not just for acquiring information or acquiring new skills, but you have to be resourceful in your business endeavors as well. A lot of people ask me, how do you find your first client, or how do you find your big client that just gives you this big break? And I know for me, the way that I was able to find these clients that I work with is that I have to kind of reverse engineer this sales process, right? I have to figure out the types of people that I want to work with, or the groups of people, or the organizations that I want to work with. Where would they go if they were looking to hire a photographer? And is there a way for me to gain access to whatever that is, whether it be a newsletter, a website, a convention, a conference, whatever? You have to start to become resourceful, and you're going to find out that the more resourceful you can become, not just in business ways, but even resourceful in how you negotiate your pricing, to become resourceful in how you purchase your equipment, purchase your photography gear, buying used and finding good deals, or buying new and buying when there's things on sale, or whatever the case might be. You have to learn to become resourceful if you are going to be successful as a pro photographer. The third trait that you must have or develop if you're going to become successful is to be focused and to be disciplined. Here's the thing, as creatives, we oftentimes are just very scatterbrained. That's part of the creative curse that we have. We think of an idea and we're like, oh, this is great, we could do this, and I'll do this, and I could pull from here and do that. But then all of a sudden, some other thing happens. It's like a shiny butterfly. Go, ooh, butterfly, right? Our brains are moving 1,000,000 miles an hour as creatives. And so what ends up happening is we get all of these great ideas and we execute little to no ideas that we come up with. And part of the reason is that we're not focused and we're not disciplined. And this is something that you must develop if you're going to be successful as a photographer. It's almost better for you to just come up with a couple of really great ideas and a couple of great concepts that you can apply to different parts of your business and execute on those few ideas than to just be this creative genius coming up with all of these great ideas that may or may not work that you never execute. Focus is key. I say this as somebody who, listen, I procrastinate a lot. This video that you're watching right now, I waited probably 2 hours before I started to film this. I knew what I was going to talk about, and I knew kind of the outline of what I was going to talk to you about today, but I came to the studio and I started looking around. I'm like, oh, I've got this box sitting over here. I should probably open that box because who knows what's in there. And oh, I wonder where this lens went to. And I'm walking around looking through the studio to try to find stuff. Meanwhile, I'm doing all these other things and I'm not focused on creating the content that I came here to shoot. So make sure that you develop that focus. Be disciplined, and this is something that takes a lot of time. You have to understand that our brains are being wired very differently than maybe people 20 or 30 years ago, mainly because of phones. Maybe I would say phones and just all of the digital media that's out there. It's rewiring the way that our brains work. And so a lot of times we think we have ADD, and I'm not a medical professional, I'm just telling you what I feel. This whole thing of looking at cell phones all the time, it basically creates this dopamine rush that you get. So constantly, I don't know if you're like me, but you're taking out your phone and you put it away for 5 minutes and then the phone comes right back out and you're checking your phone again. And every single moment that you're doing that, you're not disciplined, you're not focused, doing the things that you actually have to do to be a successful photographer or to be a successful entrepreneur in whatever your endeavors are. So understand, discipline and focus. You might not have it. I still struggle with this, and I find myself, I would tell you, not as bragging or anything. I feel like I've been very successful in this photography business, which is why I'm sharing my tips with you. But even I struggle with being focused and being disciplined, and it's something that you constantly have to be aware of. And if you're aware of it, you can work on it and you can get better every single day. So discipline and focus is kind of the bedrock. It's the foundation for these traits that you must have if you plan on being successful. The fourth trait that you have to have or develop is resilience. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that becoming a successful professional in any arena, in any trade is gonna be something that's easy. There's gonna be a lot of bumps in the road. There's gonna be a lot of rejection. There's gonna be a lot of failure. There's gonna be a lot of missiles being thrown at you. There's gonna be a lot of heat and hatred and bigotry and racism and every other fill in the word, right? There's gonna be a lot of this stuff being thrown at you. You must be resilient. Listen, I've had the kitchen sink thrown at me figuratively and every other which way. You need to be able to get past all of that. There's gonna be people along the way that tell you don't know what you're doing. There's gonna be people along the way that tell you that your art doesn't look good, or your photography is not that great, or you shouldn't be charging that much because you're not that experienced. You're too young, you're too this, you're too that. You're a woman, you're a man, you're an older man, you're a younger man, younger woman. There's always like 1,000,001 different things. You're an immigrant, whatever. They're gonna tell you why you can't do what in your heart you feel like you can actually do and actually accomplish. And so it is crucially important that you develop this idea, this trait of resilience. You need to be okay with the fact that there's gonna be haters out there. There's gonna be people out there that don't like you. There's gonna be people out there that will try to keep you from reaching your goals in one way, shape, or form. And above all else, you have to be resilient. You have to be able to keep focused, right, on the things that you want and the things that you want to be able to achieve, and you need to keep pressing forward to make those things happen. Resilience is key. I've known a lot of people, a lot of very talented people, not just photographers, but talented salespeople, talented accountants, talented medical professionals that they just weren't resilient. They went to work and I'll give you a prime example. I was on a flight from WPPI, flying from Las Vegas to Newark. And while I was on this flight, I heard some chatter behind me. And I turn around and I noticed that there is a flight attendant that is in an argument with somebody in it's the exit row. And they're talking back and forth, and apparently she wasn't listening because he says, "Oh, if you would have heard me, if you would have took off your headset." And so there's some chatter back and forth. Lady calls him an a-hole. He basically is like, "Oh, what did you call me? Oh, we're gonna turn this plane back around. We're going to Vegas, and I'm gonna let everybody know we're going back because of you." And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, dude, you're not very resilient, right? I don't know what the lady said. She was in her chair, she didn't get up. Regardless of what she said, you gotta have thick skin, brother. You can't get all upset and wound up, and you're gonna lose your job. I didn't see him for the rest of the flight. I don't know what happened, if the captain told him to go to the back of the plane or what the deal was, but that guy basically probably lost his job or got suspended for yelling at a customer, and it was all because he wasn't resilient. He didn't have thick skin. Develop resilience, you will succeed as a professional in any endeavor that you choose. The fifth and the final trait that I believe you need to have if you plan on being successful, you need to be business-minded. Listen, guys, I know this is an artistic endeavor that we're in with photography. Maybe you're a videographer, or model, or makeup artist. It's all the same to me. You might be thinking to yourself, I don't know, I love what I do and I'm just passionate about it and I just want to share it with the world. And if I get paid, that's fine. However it is you want to pay me is fine. No, it doesn't work. If you plan on being successful as a professional photographer, you need to figure out how this process of delivering photos to your clients is going to work. How are they going to pay you? Are they paying half up front? Are they paying the full amount up front? Are they going to pay it all when the images are delivered? How are you delivering these things? You need to be business minded, not just in your photography process, but in your marketing, in your website, in your communications with your clients through email or through phone. You need to be business minded if you plan on being successful. Now, the good news is that there's a lot of great books that you can read, because we weren't born knowing how to conduct business. Most of us weren't. Maybe you were brought up in a family of business people that taught you these things, and good on you. But if you weren't, there's no excuse. There's tons of great books out there. I'm gonna share with you guys in the description for this video some of the books that really helped me out over the years, because I didn't go to school for those things, but I have lots of experience doing it, working in the corporate world. I've applied it to my photography, and it has really helped me to be a lot more successful. So make sure that you click the links in the description, check out those books, because I really think that they're gonna help you out a lot. But regardless, you must be business minded if you plan on being successful as a professional, anything, right? You can't think as a creative when it comes to the art of making money. I mean, you can be creative about it, but essentially you must be business minded if you plan on winning at photography, making money to be able to support your family, and whatever your endeavors might be. With that being said, those are 5 traits that you have to have if you plan on being successful. Make sure that you leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if any of these resonated with you. Let me know if you have any traits that you want to add to this list. Leave it in the comment section below. Also, again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great content coming out, and I don't want you to miss it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.